So we can just say if the conversation started, just continuing this over to 45 minutes.
Okay, we're watching. Okay, what do you think? Should I get it closer? Yeah, with the mirror, yeah. But it didn't look like that last time.
We were at an angle.
Let's try this. But then maybe, well, with this for me, would that be for me? Okay. Is that,
Yeah.
it's not showing me. Well, it's usually with the delay. Even further back?
No, it's too Thank you.
Just be careful of chorus too.
Based on the feeling of the group. Ask them, like,
Yes. Okay, is that,
sorry.
That's better.
yeah. I mean, people want to hear it, right?
Yeah. Just so you know.
No, like, just got that. I think, is that gonna be okay for you?
Yeah, I'm fine right there. I feel like as long as we can hear it fine.
Just so you know, ask to stop by saying.
The microphone should be okay. Why don't we like?
It sounds really good.
Great. That might take time. I always kind of like feel out.
Yeah.
Oh, that should be it. I don't even know how.
No, I know, that's what I told you about. I was like, the sound is, oh, sorry.
We're really easy.
So I'll plan to stop it.
I just told them they don't need to go until 7:45.
No, I was telling her, we can do this outside and then.
Never know.
That wasn't here. Yeah.
Actually, no, never.
So,
I
because
feel like
then,
the
I
smallest
feel
they
like
are.
we can use 5:30. And it just,
That
I'm
actually can
still,
still be nice.
it's a lot of
Screen
stuff,
test
so
is probably
15 minutes, yeah.
very small.
Yeah, sometimes once just.
Yeah, it was something. Yeah, it was something that was more like seemed to be a topic that was a little more asked for people than this conversation. But even that was still felt nice. It just feels that. Usually what happens in the last stage projects we got those over there. 6 or 10 minutes and then we started. And in the space of 10 minutes we were laying on the ground. And suddenly people really contributed 6 or 6.
I can go. I don't think
No.
here it's good.
You get I always feel like it's really nice.
That was really hard. And I was like, can I like at the age of like 20% of your I think it was so powerful to her and to her in that space and all of the that was so and to have some nice like
Yeah, that was really amazing, and then I felt everything else felt like a really beautiful residue.
Right.
I know that.
I kind of wish that, I mean, this is something I'm learning, but I kind of wish that there was opportunity for these kind of event play out. Yeah, to be able to figure out if we wanted to like add an additional training. Or that Jeremy would have started some dance music as how long it should on for. Like, that would have been nice for us. We were kind of but I think we make the right call.
And you know,
Yeah,
I feel like those kind of things are also such experiments that you never know how it's going to be. I also thought there was.
Well, there's like,
amazing.
I'm gonna be like,
And like, it's really like, potentially dark. Just kind of certain from this space where you can kind of feel yeah, I thought it was great.
I couldn't tell if there were some people were speaking and I was like found myself listening. And then I was like, let people do their thing, come and go, like what's that?
I'm sorry. Yeah, kind of. But no, you can't really, it's kind of blending. But yeah, but you can't.
Is there any?
It's only me watching it. No, there's no other viewers.
Oh, no one's watching.
Just me.
Oh, that's not right.
Yeah.
Oh, I know
Oh.
what you're talking about.
Because we're too much on this.
Oh.
No, we're not. There's no smack being said.
Actually, he would be like this inspiration.
Oh, it's so.
He doesn't see content. Just it's like
Well, that's the thing about the like persona. I mean, that's where the evening was kind of interesting. Yeah. Intergenerational thing.
Yeah, like if I really like email, like in front of the red. Oh, and like some of the audience they're like stuff that happened before where I'm like I have to email
Just being emotional. And so then to have the Jeremy music,
not everyone sort of in your lap.
You know they want to do.
Yeah.
did the listener
you got that written to say, right?
Oh yeah, you're right.
And I was I think I've only been in right.
I almost lost when I was situated.
It's a lot more.
You brought chocolate.
So I swear. Right.
It's like the sun also rises, so you're saying this in English.
He said, like, how did she? She was 50 or 60 days to get She really did. She was. I saw her. We did a. She was a. Artist But I didn't realize she was such a.
Oh, oh my God.
Oh, the county. Yeah. Yeah.
How's it go? Sit down.
No. Oh, well. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
dance space. Doing some tech.
Yeah.
You know, that's beautiful. The
Okay.
walls are beautiful.
Yay.
Yeah.
So it's worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's great to meet.
I was thinking maybe an easy way to handle Monday is for me to see if Lily's available, and I could continue doing this Alexander trade.
Okay.
I feel like Melinda really needs like 2 or 3 hands.
Well, we need, I mean, Amanda's available until 3, so maybe could just be the one that's constantly with her that day, but then we do need some more people.
Yes. How many more people do you think you need?
I think 2, 3, just like, well, she said she's figuring out where she's taking the class.
Right.
Depending on that, I think one or 2 more people in addition to Amanda at dance space to
Okay.
but then they wouldn't necessarily need to like go to all the places. Right? Like, because she was saying one option was they'd unload it for her, and another option is that she needs to do it herself. I'll follow up on that tomorrow.
Oh no, totally. I just keep thinking about it because I'm like, that's gonna be the thing where we get to that. We're like, oops.
But I did confirm with you that we don't have to take them back upstairs.
Great.
On Saturday night, we
Oh,
just leave them
great.
downstairs. Because there's nothing. Yes. Small victories, right?
Cool. Well, all right. I'm planning on showing up like for dress rehearsal each night. Is that okay? Or should I come before then? Or
Maybe just a few minutes before,
Yeah.
so we can check in about
Right.
anything that But
and do you know have any of the artists talked about like what they want front of house wise? Like if they want it just to go into their show, or if they want announcements happening, or
it's been determined that the pre-show announcement will happen before Nelly's piece. It'll happen because of the tent and everything.
Yeah.
It'll happen stage right.
okay.
And
And is
then-
that by dance base?
We decide. Usually the curators do
Yeah.
the announcements, and if
Okay.
you and Beth feel comfortable, and as long as you say the like 3 things that dance space needs you to say, then,
Right.
then
Okay.
you guys should. I think you guys should do it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's
Okay.
nice when you
Yeah,
when the
yeah.
curators do it.
Yeah.
And then Melinda's will not have an announcement,
Okay.
so I just need to talk to Lydia about how they. I know we can that's okay.
I
know you're like-
Right.
Important information.
And then we'll figure out for Abby and Gwen.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should probably just talk to Gwen's check is tonight, and we'll talk to.
Oh,
You can see the people are.
She's at the show.
okay. So we'll ask her. Okay. Or she's up there, but yeah. Okay, cool.
Patricia, yeah.
Well, I didn't do your.
It's really like people to tell me their
I'm open, but
Yeah, but
I feel like
there
we're having.
could be options. So, like,
Might as well
you
just
don't have
start
those dates. You
in some way. No, I'm gonna go.
Potential for
Well, they're
Thank you.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and start.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are awesome like this. And it's raining.
Yeah, that's what I figured,
Yeah.
but, you know.
All right, well, welcome, everybody. Thanks for being here on time. I'm Sarah Lass. I'm the Studies Project Coordinator here. So the Studies Projects are a monthly discussion series that is instigated by the artists. We are always open to suggestions and we're accepting proposals. You can talk to one of the research staff members in person or you're presenting the film. So Studies Project at research.org. As always, we thank Gibney for hosting this series. We love this space. They are very gracious in coming to us every month. We are audio recording and live streaming this event. So if there is anything that you say during the course of the discussion that you feel uncomfortable with later, speak with myself or another research staff member and strike it from the published record, not from this room. And we do this just so that we can reach a broader audience. If the discussion runs past 7:30 and it's getting closer to 7:45, we're going to make an announcement because the elevator stops running at 8 o'clock. So if anybody would like to use the elevator, we'll just let you know when 7:45 rolls around. Merch table, right over here by the lovely Amanda and Amanda. We have our most recent performance journal along with the office full brochures. It's a really cool week of programming, performances and workshops. The entire rest of the week. And so that's over there. Feel free to pick one up. We also have the winter milk brochures. Those workshops are selling out very quickly, so feel free to get your spot as soon as you can. We also have tote bags and performance journal subscriptions. If you are able to, after the event is over and you'd like to make a donation, you can also do that. But buying performance journals, subscriptions, or the tote bags, or attending workshops is also another great way of supporting this organization. And with that, I'm going to introduce one of the creators of the conference event.
I had a moment but yeah, and we're so excited to have Nelisiwe Xaba here from South Africa for the festival, and she'll be performing Thursday. And we just wanted to kind of take advantage of this moment, being here in New York, and just create an intimate kind of setup to have a conversation. Thomson is sweet enough to be with us, and you guys have met before. Once. So this was sort of so it's an idea about bringing two artists together and just asking them to engage in a conversation without any real agenda about where it goes, and kind of create a situation where the audience could observe, see,
And intersect.
and intersect. Great. Cool. So I'll hand it over to you. Okay.
Thanks. So actually, could you do me a favor and say the name?
Nelisiwe.
Just for the record. So we've been chatting a bit beforehand. Give your glasses, but anyway. So actually, what I thought we could just do is start with a very small history of like how you came to performance. A little bit. And what actually struck you about making work? Because you're very passionate about it, it seems to be. And also, if you can't hear, please raise your hand. You seem to be very focused in the work that you're doing in a lot of ways. It tends to gravitate around a certain subject matter. But
Well, that's a long
I know it is. But let's start off with simple. Let's simple. How old were you when you started?
well, formally I was 17. When I went to dance school at the time, started training. feels like, yeah, from 76, I wasn't born 76, and 76 I was 6. So in 76 there were student riots, probably 8, and then 86 there were major ones, and probably after that. But 76 and 86 the big major ones. Which actually affected my school. My school, because this would be interrupted. We had to repeat the class because, in 1976, actually, I don't think we went to school after June 16. So, I don't know. So, and then you either change the school or go somewhere else and start over again. But I was a little younger. But in 86, something similar happened. So there was quite a lot of interruptions. Students would be going on strike. Basically, arrive at school in the morning, and then maybe at 10 o'clock you're going home because school is just interrupted for various reasons. But the question is, what do you do with yourself? You go home and sleep, or read a book, or start cleaning the house before your parents get back, or do what young people do, get naughty. Enough, and it's fantastic that you become naughty when you're young. You don't want to start when you're 40.
Well,
It's too late.
well, let's just say it gets a little bit more dangerous. Okay?
That's also too late. It's not funny anymore.
I thought it was funny. It's still fun. Being naughty, but that's a whole nother discussion.
So me and a couple of friends, we said we wanted to do something else besides being naughty. We were good, we were good children somehow. We didn't know at that time, but we were trying to do the right thing. So we joined some aerobic classes, and this didn't last for long. And then I think I used to do some karate, and this didn't last long. And then we started doing yoga. 14, 15. This lasted for quite a while. We were very serious, we were very passionate. Actually, thinking about it now, I think the reason why we started that we became quite engaged and quite serious, probably because there was, we could perform yoga poses in some community hall. Probably saw the performance, a part of it, or the preparing to do something to show. Probably gave us the drive, actually thinking about. And then after that, things during those days were through Facebook, happy with something. So you hear, there's someone who's doing well with something. I want to join. So that's how I got into dancing informally until when I was 17. I joined a school called Johannesburg. This is where I was introduced to activities.
And when did you start doing that?
Actually, not much around 13 and I started to do more.
What is the
Well, I suppose it was clear for me that I couldn't be in any dance company. At the same time, I was still interested in doing something, expressing myself physically. So I used to think this concept, they looked at me, but I did a sensation before I did
that's a sensation?
yeah.
How would you describe that? That's how it's also.
Well, the sensation was actually at that time I was very much interested in costume. I mean, I still am. Costume is not a big part, but it's design. But at that time, it was really incorporated into the piece. So with plasticization, we used to work with strange love at that time. Strange love is it's two guys on the label called Strange Love. So it's the African designers. And we did this project where they made what we call Chinese bags. I'm not sure if you call them Chinese bags, but yeah, well, they made a mask out of the same material, and then they made also these bags, and then we had to create characters. So that's how plasticization came about.
Did they perform it?
It wasn't so. Well, there were a few of us, but it's not necessarily what that piece was like.
Yeah.
Coming back to the other
It was just more of just what made you start choreographing, because you said you could pretty much. Yes.
Because when you said that it was clearly in dance, that you couldn't be in dance.
yeah,
I kind of wanted to hear.
because you know, at that time, thanks to Queen about during the times when I was, you know, when I could only dance in a dance company, you know, be a set aside, you couldn't point to be in a dance company. You couldn't pirouette these two pirouettes without staggering out. So, not begging to pirouettes.
So I guess now you can be in the dance company.
No, not too old.
Oh, you're never too old. Well, maybe not that. Okay,
But my next company,
oh yeah. But anyway, go back to. So you didn't fit in the thanks to the bad for example.
no, but you work
Right.
yeah, introduce the idea that actually you don't have to be the same height, you don't have to be white, you don't have to be, you know, you don't have to be that photograph to be able to dance in a group.
Was there kind of work being done at that point in South Africa?
Not really. I mean, yeah, in the 80s, in the late 90s, you know, it was a typical, yeah, it was strange also. It was not strange, it was how things were done at that time, that, you know, even a contemporary or a modern company still demanded that dancers were ballet trained. And so, you know, then there was a question that, you know, so if you're not ballet trained, actually, basically, you can't be a dancer. Or you can't be in this professional dance world.
And so you made your own way?
I did, probably, you know, with the influence of traveling. I mean, in France, at least when I started working in France, this was like a big gap, you know. In France, you could find people dance companies in public theaters. You know, not that they end up in the station, and this is where they started. So this was a revelation to see that.
And at that point, were you making your work with your own friends?
But in the beginning, I was still working with
Right, she was traveling.
yeah, I traveled quite a lot. Maybe I've seen what? It's a long time. She was famous for that.
Yeah, she's very famous for all
Yeah, so that we don't remember.
that. You're like, and you grew up in the US.
Yeah, so yeah, I suppose you know, then when you're traveling, you see so many different shows. I suppose that's why we travel, so that we can see what we never see. I suppose I'm saying that because my training background was so, you know, so it was so American in a way, or influenced by American ways of what dance is and how dance should be. Yeah.
Structure. Did you find that Robin really supported that movement?
Yes. I suppose also by traveling to Europe.
Like the work, her work, the structure of how she both worked with that. I mean, from the few people that I've seen in prison, there's a particular, I think, connection with the field that she plays with, but I don't know if that seems very different from what was being seen as something like that. I guess because we exist within our own universe and until we get out of it, we don't realize how different or similar things are.
Well, I suppose years ago, you know, choreography was, you know, that choreographer, you know, makes sense. And run all of those oh, of course.
And Robin, can you respond to that, please? Thank you.
Well, I'm just curious because you were saying that, you know, what your experience dance was mostly so that's kind of uneasy. But then you travel to France, and that's where your world, contemporary dance, will open up. And I'm just curious, I don't think necessarily have an answer, but for me that's an interesting concept, that only the ballet is what sort of
stuck.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Are you trying to, I mean, there's these two parallel lines of colonialism and American ballet and then France.
Well,
But the question, I guess, is are you talking about the vocabulary which she was trained in? And
yeah, I
how
was
that-
talking about the vocabulary, which was an uncle ballet, also romantic and jazz, so all these techniques, and they were all American. So that's why I said American influence. And it's still the same actually, and so I think it's
But then there are no real dance techniques. So you have ideas such as inverting and concept, which has a style to it and a logic, but not necessarily a formal technique that was created. So I think there's a different idea about what the fundamentals were, the building blocks we use, and how they've shifted. And also, I think I can just actually going back to that, what do you feel like the vocabulary of, lack of a better word, more the ethnographic dance that was happening in South Africa? How did that impact itself with you, affect you? Is that something that you brought into yourself or weren't involved with?
So, yeah. This was a strange thing also because I grew up in Soweto, supposed to be called Gibney. So this is an urban environment. So there's all of us from everywhere. Supposed brought together by race, we were all black. Maybe two cities or something. Everyone. So I don't remember that when I was young, I would say us as Sowetans having an obsession of Zulu until there was no, I don't remember, being Zulu is so important. I was, and it was not a big deal.
No, it's not. I bring that up. There's this idea of culture.
No,
and
it is.
expectation.
It's a very important question because then when you start traveling and then you come to America and then, Americans need to know, they're obsessed with my tradition.
Yeah.
And so I'm forced to now think, what is Zulu again?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm forced to go back to South Africa, somewhere that maybe was and I'm not interested in going back to New Zealand. This is what I need to do.
The big black.
Yeah, I'm really not I have no needs for affirmation. Confirm that I'm Zulu. And affirming to be Zulu doesn't mean that I have to wear my Zulu skin costume, which actually is very sexual. It would be ridiculous if I was to wear it around New York.
Unless you're performing.
Still, I mean, I do, but.
Because it's all yeah.
Yeah, so it's an interesting thing, to read and or be forced to read.
Yeah. Well, that's for me one of the. I mean, part of the ideas around these questions are about the legacy. They're all sort of based on the experiences and how we got to, as well as finding our own way. And so it's always curious if I could just pluck you out of nowhere and look at your work, but I'm also curious about all those other journeys that you took that got you to also like running things to at a point, for example, if you're just moving a bit more forward. Do you feel that your work has always been political? Or has that been always an interest for you? Or do you feel like it's something that's in the course of making work in the industry exposed to
Sometimes I'm guilty of, that by so doing, of course, my work is very, but by so doing, I'm reacting. Not how to respond.
Yeah. I mean, when you, for example, okay, so we were.
And having said that, I think it's important, not that I'm responding, but that I'm reacting. Yeah.
We had a joke earlier today where somebody, just to bring it, she had run into someone on the street and they had seen a number of articles in the paper about it. She said, "Oh, you're doing really well, blah, blah." Well, what did you come to do? Your security and stuff. So that was one of the No, I'm sorry. It was, well, the work about you working politically, you're saying you're responding and working at, but do you find that it's, well, let's just talk about, let's start talking about, and this other, something about being a woman and how you go to sections of that. Do you want to talk a little bit about
I never really remember details of why I do it. But sometimes feel like I was reacting. Not that this is wrong, it's real, but not something that can be a spot one succession. Actually, I had watched singing album. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a it's a common name. Yeah.
Well, Stephen Cohen he's a Jewish South African male artist. Does performances. Very knowledgeable. Studies on waves, chandeliers, street on. He did this particular performance with his name was White.
You mean the person who took care of him? Or the nanny? Okay.
Yeah. And some weird reasons they still live together. So she started performing with him. I don't know how this was negotiated. But anyway, he did this performance where it was a video performance actually, so at the festival for Thomson. So the video is of it's old woman, but she was already old when I saw her in that video. I think she was 50s, yeah, something years old. And so she's dressed in a clothing, G-string and crimson brown. And she's cleaning toilet around in the house there. And this performance really affected me. When the video finishes, I can't remember how long the video was. And then she comes along, like an 80-year-old woman, small and very confident. And when she came in, I just cried. Just couldn't stop at this. Just cried. Then after that, then I asked myself loads of questions. Why was I crying? Well, I asked myself lots of questions. Was I crying because she was black? And because she was white? And if she was white, would it be an issue? And if she was any color but an actress or someone who's a performer, would I have issues or would it have touched me the way it did? I still don't have an answer. But I know that she doesn't decide, she definitely doesn't decide artistically how she wants to be presented to whom. So this is for sure. So this is how actually I came into that's all. I started becoming obsessed with these politics, who's displaying who very powerful. And that piece was really like, I mean, who's displaying who and how. And, the person who's displaying who they have, do they sit together and watch the video and edit it? And she said, oh no, but my ass is not looking good. Can you do this language? It doesn't. So this really, I mean, we continue to do the piece with her in France. So we toured also. Same thing, she's wearing a G-string. At the beginning of the piece, she's not wearing a G-string. It's naked. She walks slowly across the stage. We thought the summer didn't come because to me, it's the same thing. Politics of who's displaying who, that's how, when,
This brings my mind.
completely, it's a complete ceremony. Completely.
And contextualizing something. And it's interesting that one very here is close to I mean, because
I've never really spoken to him about it because, we're colleagues and I don't know how to do it. She lives with him. And the story of love. Well, you know, one can easily say they have a really strong, a strong relationship. But I mean, is that relationship balanced?
Which one is? I mean, who's to really say?
No.
Well, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but it's interesting because I think about something I'm working on that it just goes into the discussions of power and surrender. And going like,
I'm
it's okay.
fascinated with that actually right now. I don't know how to make a piece out of it, but yet
I know it's hard, but it's this question of like also the joy of actually surrendering, the joy of like being together, or like what are the dynamics of someone going, okay, I trust you, I underline that, or what are the underlying power dynamics? And I think we are just like trying to step away from it and not make judgments about it, because we always do. I mean, I think when the line goes into abuse and you go, oh, okay, I've got to draw that, but you don't know the internal working. So that in itself, that relationship between them becomes its own, quicker of creation.
well, I mean, you know, we could easily say that the relationship is a mother-son relationship.
Mm.
But except in this relationship, the son has more power than the mother.
That happens sometimes. It's true. I mean, you become your. Sometimes you become.
Yes, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
no, these days
I'm
I
not-
think I'm my mother's. My mother's become my daughter,
See.
but that's different.
Because you didn't
I could never
understand.
say this to my no, I could never say this to my mother,
Oh.
and I could never put her in a G-string and she says, "This is cool, we're going on."
Yeah.
No, I could never.
No, I'm sure your mother would just.
She will slap me.
Yes,
This is not
exactly.
even a given.
Yeah.
This is not even a given.
The thought of it.
Even if I have more money than her, or if I could have more money than her, I could never go there. No. So,
No, I agree. I agree with you. It's different. But it's complex.
no, they
So then that response to, but in one way, it's kind of, it's beautiful. I mean, you know, sometimes I look at French work and it's very much in one environment. And in one way, it does become very much a self-wonder because it's outside of it. It's not.
no, for sure. For sure. I spoke to there's an auntie, the director of the festival. She is really great, great person. And happily I had a glass of wine, and I said, "Oh, this is so powerful. It's a story of love." And you know, like, come on. What love are you talking about? So happily I had a glass of wine and I could, you know, I could challenge him. But it's easy to say it's love and it's beautiful, you know, without actually, you know, deep.
So, because you also think about, sorry, excuse me, like in the Venus, you talk about this idea of the dream, of how, can you talk a little bit about how you perceive to move very fast?
Oh, suppose it's all my work. I suppose, yeah. So, no. Well, in a sense, you know, going back to, I don't know, like the conversation
Yes,
about
yes.
the visual world,
The black box and the white
the
box.
black box and the white box, and the visual world, that the visual world, I could, you know, my whole career could be based on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And I could decide on the value of parents, and, you and this is my lifetime work. Whereas in contemporary dances, have allowed me to do stuff I've done once, and maybe twice, and never done. So it's interesting. So anyway, let's say, South about money is now the theme of my career. Yeah, but South about money now coincides. It's now when working decides. I just feel that I continue being working in service. She decides what to allow the audience to see.
So she's running the future.
Yeah, she's not. She doesn't have a thing. She takes the money directly.
That's good, self-empowerment. You gotta know what you have to sell and be able to reflect on it. Good.
You feel that when you did the piece, that you, did you do it with the theater?
Yeah, it was great. So,
It's hard to negotiate the spatial relationship of yours. And you do have, I think, something. I think in those spaces, you command what the relationship is, or if it's compromised,
yeah. I mean, also, to work with people in what works doesn't work. It's that works doesn't work. Yeah. So, you take it the kind of piece, especially when they work in you. So much.
you feel like the same one, sorry, because you said that also contributes to
Yes. No, this was deliberate. Well, I was asked to do a new work. Well, I was asked to bring a work. Museum in Paris. Museum equipment, so used to be called Museum of Natural History. And now, sure, in Germany now they call these museums Museum of World Culture. So anyway, they asked me to bring work, so I proposed to bring and then they didn't want it. Actually, I'm not sure if they didn't want it because it was a sort of set up on what it was. So, from doing research, so music Gibney was built by what's his name, the president for some.
That's what.
Built to because now we are artists help those companies So basically, this is where Sarabhan ended, except this is now a new beautiful black box where they took some of the stuff from the museum and then what was not politically correct, they left it. Yeah, as if it's still not problematic actually. Yeah, so so I did a research in that old one and the new one, and then actually it was for me it's clear, to connect to Sarah. And also because when Mandela took over, we kind of negotiated for the return to Sarah. We cannot smooth because they were for a period of 10 years actually. Only actually possible after Mandela was not in office. Yeah, he was not in office when we found it. So I made a fictional story that Sarah Blackman was now back in Johannesburg or was back in South Africa. Actually, was not excited to be back home. She was missing. She was missing the champagne. Fashion.
She was a star, now she's not a star.
Yeah,
Home,
and-
you're just a home girl from home.
No,
Who cares?
No, yeah, so yeah, so the piece became about somewhere, yeah, it became about immigration. So because yeah, that time was when Johannesburg was xenophobic, violence, and actually immigration is still a big part of our topic these days. So in the piece, Sarah Gottman now wants to go back to France, and now Sarkozy also made some big steps that, especially West Africans, but he was offering West Africans like 6,000 euros to come at home, return back to their single yes, 6,000 euros. So yeah, so Sarah Gottman was to go back to Paris, but some people said, well, should I have no place because some people like to use it. So
The museum said no to this piece.
no, I didn't. No, it's so I proposed this, so they had no choice because they wanted something new, so that was something.
Ah, but they said no to the other one.
They said no to
Ah, and they gave no reason.
no, yeah. They said, oh no, we just want to.
Oh, I gave you a good pay for it.
Yeah.
Well,
So that's how I just thinking two pieces are very interesting.
all right. I just want to open this up to questions as well. Oh, please.
Really, not to go people that I used to teach. So, try the trio, but it's better.
You have to go.
No, actually, we didn't even arrive at the beginning, so. I'm sure it was you know, these out here.
She was a very.
Yeah.
Okay, so Louise.
Yeah. Yeah. It was supposed to be me, Louise, and
I'm better.
yeah, I don't know how to do that.
So is there, sorry, we were talking about the white space and black space, and then also about ex-houses and and this idea of, I guess I'm sort of curious about where you feel, you know, just as an artist, what kind of situation would make you happy in making work? In the kind of, you know, you feel like you still enjoy working in a black box, but you find alternative spaces. Yes.
Well, Exons was a project that was brought by the agency in 2010, and it had been not performing. I decided that they would perform private spaces, lots of houses.
They,
Yeah, the project was done, it's done.
but you perform.
Yeah.
Okay, because you're in the same.
Yeah, yeah, so if we come with formula because they take the same formula so in Johannesburg, they chose two spaces, Hillbrook and
It's the, just about the idea of performing in such a space versus
well, what's interesting sometimes you know, to be given an infrastructure and then you have to deal with it. Sometimes this is great, but not to be thinking about what you do. You just have to deal with that space. You know, so this was the case also with exams, that you give them space and then deal with it. So this can be interesting. But, just thinking about what to do, but not thinking about space. You know, logistically can be like to organize things, every other one in here. So since maybe 4 or 5 years, one of the artists were represented by it sounds interesting and exciting. I think both of us still figuring out what to do. Exactly. I don't know that before, they will organize or facilitate the performance in an art fair. Sure, actually going for it. I think they should do performances. I think it's a month, it's just be a month. You know, yeah, to be dealing with art differently than just business. It's just for the business and get what.
Well, do you think some of it, so, would you think it's, I mean, people are doing that now, where they're taking their performance pieces and they're selling them to museums and or places. So,
Some believe that, I do a performance and then you record it. This is art. It's performance is supposed to, it's a live performance and you only consume it now and it's finished. And if you take something holding, if you take that experience, you only take the experience and hold, you can't take with you photography, it's not the same. It's
interesting because there comes this question of the value of ephemerality and something that passes by. There are things that we buy that eventually deteriorate. But we buy them, we love them, they have value. But then why is someone who creates something that is supposedly a product that is hard, why does that need a lot of money or mean money versus something that there's an experience, I bought an experience, or I bought the memory of an experience, or the documentation of this experience, depending on how it's packaged in a way that, oh wow, it's not to say you own it, the person doesn't buy you own it.
It's also complex and so well. So for artists and agents, which actually has performed the Gibney gallery space, they had another space actually we were there at that time. They painted the whole gallery black. So basically creating a black box. And after that, actually, they closed that space because actually it didn't make sense for them commercial. So, well, we did Uncles and Angels. So, because of how it's interesting also, how the money is exchanged. So they convinced at least at that time 2 buyers that you can make a video out of them. So those people bought Uncles and Angels, which we eventually made. So we made a 3D movie out of it. But it was not a recording of Uncles and Angels. We made 3D movie influenced by the piece itself, but it was not a documentation. So anyway, so we did this, and then managed to sell it to them. So this is fascinating.
Doesn't interest you. I guess I'm curious because I'm also talking about this. As you say this, I don't know how long I'll do this, maybe I should get a job. But this idea of like how the value of work you do and where's the line of compromise of going like, well, it is not what it is, but wow, this could actually be something that will go.
Yeah, it is interesting. For me, a satisfying artistic way of, from just one performance that we can sell pictures. Oh, we can make t-shirts. Oh, we can make this under that.
It's product. I mean, yeah.
It is.
But I mean, that's an interesting thing, though. I mean, it's
Well, he makes money out of those.
Yeah.
So, yeah, somewhere, I mean, the relationship with weird galleries, somewhere it's positive that actually, you don't only have to make consent and that's what it ends up. Creativity, I'm not sure.
Because the other thing I'm really interested in, the work you do, this work I've seen, the sets and the costumes are very can be very elaborate in their own way, whether it's that puffy thing that you float around in, or the bag that you zip yourself into, the Chinese bag, or the mask and some other things I've seen. Those are objects of art in their own way.
It's complex though. If you want to sell that, then yeah. Actually, yeah. I suppose especially with that piece, it has been a dilemma that if you sell the costume, does it costume?
Right, and then the question is, will you do that piece again?
Well, I paid you to do it, right?
Right.
And I told you what to do. Not in detail, I didn't design it, but I told you what to do. So there's this costume belongs to me, belongs to me.
Okay.
No.
I know, it's an interesting collaboration.
Yeah, collaboration.
That's what it is. I mean, it's interesting. I look at the plastic arts. You have someone I've been designed his works, but it's designed in neon, and so he doesn't make it. He chooses the font. He works with the person. Says, "Oh, you can do this, this, and this." But the other guy fabricates it. But that's his work. And I guess it also eventually goes into this.
Well, what in visual world?
Well,
Yeah.
that's the
No,
thing.
exactly. No,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, in visual world, you have a gallery, and the gallery takes care of this. They pay him, they sign him out.
Right.
It's done. And generally, that's what happens. Well, suppose you could.
Well, that's what I'm curious about in this. Maybe I'm just pushing this argument a little bit. But no, it's this idea of like the work you do. Down the line, say something happens. Weird, story. You look at it. How do you look at it? What do you think will happen to it?
Yeah.
Do you think you'd ever go like, no, I'm wondering if this is that piece of it? What is? I mean, again, create this history, and I think in this world, I'm wondering how much we go back to that history, or if it just becomes an accumulation of things that eventually then do deteriorate. And in the midst of creating that, how do you? And I guess this is my thing, without this totally, but how do you monetize the process in a little way? And it's not to say it's selling everything, but it's just being aware of the artifacts that you're doing and valuing those things. Because if you're a visual artist, those things are valuable. If you're a performing artist, I remember they went through immersive stuff, and then a lot of stuff went to the water.
No, exactly. I was gonna exactly mention that because when we had the book, when Kathy asked him something, that space where they had exhibited his costume. But the difference is that someone who's doing that is really isn't. The difference is that someone who's taking care of those costumes and making sure that they don't deteriorate. Mine are in the boxes. Yeah, it was really interesting to look at that costume. Wow.
Yeah. And the thing also that in the midst of taking, they took some things and other things they threw out. And I don't know, it's always a curiosity of
I have an observation. This may be totally off base, but just kind of an impressionistic observation from having seen some of your work online. Is it feels to me the way the interplay between you and the costumes and the objects that you're working with, that the way in which they're animated is very cinematic. And it reminds me of, I work as an archivist, and I work with archivists I study with works a lot with expanded cinema and 16mm films, where there's like there's like a performativity to the way you see the projected film, almost like Anthony McCall's work, or some of the filmmakers where they slice films live with 2 projectors, and it becomes a kind of performance in and of itself. And so there's a way in which I feel like light and the scoop costume that covers you, and the way the light works with it, and it kind of becomes like a kind of projection or cinematic image for me. But it makes sense that as like an object without your body, without the light, without the whole contextual framing of how it becomes animate. It's almost like looking at a puppet. There was a time when I was working with a puppeteer, and he said, when you just remove the puppet from gravity, and you just throw it around, it just becomes a doll and nobody cares about it. So I almost imagine that object just kind of in a room by itself, it loses some kind of gravity or some kind of like meaning, perhaps. So I don't know if I'm way off, but that's just like an impression as an observer.
Yeah, around the time I was really obsessed with orchids. And talking about its skin is really it's an aspect like you say that we have this object, but still have to direct it. It's not like you can take a paper and do that. So you have to control it, but it's also still controls itself. And it's how much to live, and each of these ways. So
Really?
Another collaboration itself.
Whoa! So actually, I want to say, do you want to talk a little bit about the future of Thursday, not tomorrow?
Thursday.
Actually, it's fun just to be invited to come and do stuff instead of coming to do what we do. But we're doing work that just responding to someone else's work. So I was invited in Bible this summer training to be part of the project that was looking at genuine choreographers in the 30s, 30s, who were influenced by exotic dances. For example, Mary So, basically, we're given loads and lots of material, reading material, watch videos. So, actually, basically, this project was around Germany right now. It's putting, since the last 3 years, we've been putting lots of money into projects around archiving. So, so I did the solo based on research. The solos have nothing to do with the research.
Is there an influence?
I feel it's the way I found myself looking for myself. Almost became
They look at me, which is another.
But Nelly, is it that you repeat yourself, or is it issues that you're dealing with? I feel like the content, you kind of text a little bit about your work is about I had the benefit of seeing some and talking to hey, work is kind of and you're, I feel, exposing topics and realities that really need to be thought about and looked at. So I don't know that I can hear people. There's so many ways to tackle these pervasive
Yeah, I think one day I would like to talk about the weather.
And I think it's also the structure is very different.
But it kind of gets back to what you guys were talking about earlier, the expectation in theater, theatrical work versus the expectation in visual work, you know, of this idea of having like this sort of singular body of work that has these permutations or different iterations versus that you reinvent yourself in every
When I'm
single
lazy,
work.
I'm like, oh yeah, I can do this. But when I'm critical to myself, I'm like, what do you think to myself?
It's so interesting. In some of my work, I've spent time around clowns, the theatrical clowns, working in silent comedy and so on. And it's such an opposite frame where, you know, like with a character like Bill Irwin, he has one character, and it's about kind of a writing of his one character, and that's his character his whole lifetime. And even when he performs in King Lear or on Broadway or on television, you still see Bill Irwin in those characters. But it's, I mean, it's a very different frame. So that's interesting. But there's a lot of mastery in that. It's taken many, many, many years.
I guess the question about repeating yourself also, that is, what are your expectations? What are your, I guess, well, there are two questions around that. One, are there artists, visual and performative, who influence you, who you really admire, that you feel has some connection with in some way? People you see like the work. When I say influence, let's say you like something, that's another way of using structure. That's another way of using movement. Or that's interesting how they use video. And, you know, that way where you're seeing something and you go, oh.
It's horrible and it's not arrogant. It's, you know, when I made Uncles and Angels, it was tired of anything else. It was really frustrating for my conversation. I'm not sure if I did, but the politics of the body and the image on the screen is complicated, and for a long time now, choreographers don't think about this. Or maybe they don't see those politics, and maybe it doesn't bother them, but it used to freak me out. So I'm kind of, I'm trying to attend something with Uncles and Angels. Uncles and Angels is, it's a nightmare. Technological nightmare. So we have a screen in the middle, and it's their projection, and we have a front camera. Usually I will never do this kind of work because it requires me to be precise, and I hate precision like that. Or I don't want to be actually precision like that makes me slave and something. If you don't do it at 7:30, you're out. Or it's wrong. So I don't like that kind of precision. But so the camera can see me, but we can't see what's on the screen. So that's why we managed to make a competition. So I create lots of meetings. I'm not sure, I mean, we're very, when we first made this piece with Mark, the media artist, we spoke about these politics, because it doesn't matter what you do, video will always, the script will always take over.
It's the light, brings the light, draws your attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very conscious.
So, suppose I was trying to defeat this.
It's interesting because in a certain way, part of the defeat is by feeling a double hand for yourself. And so, in one way, it creates another dynamic of like, you're there, you're coming from yourself as well. And from a little bit of myself.
Yeah, well, it becomes, power dynamics, which is a very strong. So, actually, also with the power dynamic between me and the artist.
That was not it. Yes.
So the piece was very personal between the two of us.
Oh, that's good. That's a beautiful black diamond. If you want to call it. Yeah.
Marriage.
Oh. Well, that's even more. Well, are there other desires, questions, thoughts? Because this young lady has been traveling too far, and I know she's very kind. And I really appreciate it. Well, we'll be home before then. So,
Yeah.
oh. I gotta go out there.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Everyone in the room, I really hope that you come to dances on Thursday to see the work and please also spread the word. Said out of town artists right now, get the word out.
Oh.
We have that class.
Oh. No, I was trying to have it before. That's fine.